What's going on, everyone? This is the Buzzing here, and today what I wanted to do is I wanted to go ahead and give you that review of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Well, let's go ahead and get started. As you will see in this video, I do have some snippets of Super Mario Odyssey in here because it does make some pretty good references to Mario 64, which we are going to go over today is Mario 64, particularly from that All-Star collection. So, let me give you some backdrop on why this game is so important to me. When I was a kid, I didn't get a chance to own a console until 1996. I was, 5 years old or so. There was this old store. It was named Fedco. For those of you not familiar with Fedco, it was one of those stores that it was kind of like it was a department store, but it was kind of like Target, not as flashy as Target, but it had, your sporting goods and your clothes, and maybe there was a little market in there. But at the time, they did have a little demo set up in the store so you could play Mario 64. And when I did get a chance to play that demo of Mario 64, I hoped that my parents would pick me up a copy of that game as well as the console N64. I wasn't expecting it for my first Christmas, but when I did open up that package to get that Mario 64, it was pretty cool because that was at my point in time the very first real interaction I had with gaming. Opening up that Mario 64, being able to plug in the white, red, yellow sockets into my TV. It was pretty great. It was magical. But as I was playing through the game, I was like, you know what? I don't think anything could ever top this game at the time. And as I was moving forward through my life in gaming, and more Mario games came out, I was like, you know what? Can anything ever really stack up to Mario 64? And as you're seeing here through some of this footage, you'll see that the power of Mario 64 is its story, right? So we have your classic tale of Bowser kidnapping the Princess Peach, but then you also have Mario going through this castle full of these portraits. And it was that one moment in time when you have Mario jumping through some of these portraits. You're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like, what's going on? These are little mini worlds going on in these portraits. You have a waterland going on, such as Jolly Roger Bay. You have the Bomberland going on, which is the very first level. I collected a few of these snippets from here, and also I wanted to show you some parallels as well. What you will see is that there is the dinosaur from Super Mario 64 that they brought back in Mario Odyssey. That was pretty cool. I really did have an appreciation for that. I was like, hey, you know what? I recognize that. Another parallel that you will see as we're moving forward through some of these clips is that there's that jumping into the portrait action mode, which you will see they have taken full advantage of in Mario Odyssey to face this robot-looking worm creature. But that parallel of jumping into that picture and being able to fight this boss was borrowed from Mario 64. They wanted to reference that. One of the final references you'll see in this video is that after you collect 120 stars, I know you can see on there that I did not collect 120 stars, but most people do know that after you do collect those stars that you do get a chance to meet Yoshi. Well, in Mario Odyssey, you get a chance to become Yoshi with the little cap. So, again, I thought that these are some pretty cool references, and it kind of shows the parallels of how Mario 3D has evolved from 1996 to now. And in my opinion, it's become a very great game. I don't want to get too much into Odyssey, but I think that is one of the better Mario games since Mario 64. I still think 64 has the edge on it, but again, when we talk more about Mario 64 and the appreciation of the fan base for it, there's lots of people that have these speed runs for it. They want to see how quickly they can beat the game. I can do it pretty quick, as you can see in some of the footage. I'm a pretty quick guy when it comes to maneuvering through the Lava Land, just the Bowser portal for the first one, wherever you get the first key, as you can see there. But no, this is a thing, the speed running. But part of the storytelling which makes this game so great is, I don't know, I guess that once you're here, you start out at the main level of the castle, right? And as you're collecting all these stars, you're like, oh, I guess I'm going to face Bowser in phase 1, and you do. You go up there, I think it was 8 stars that it costs to be able to face him. But then, as you're moving through, you're like, oh, this castle has a basement. It has a full basement. What's going on here? And then it has the infamous bunny that's hopping on around. You're chasing him down, and you're like, hey, why can't I catch this bunny? Some people say they spend more time catching the bunny than it takes for some of these speedrunners to beat the game. And I thought that was pretty hilarious as I'm looking at some of these speedrunning games, because it's pretty interesting on how fast people are beating it. But again, I don't want to get too off topic. Getting that chance to be able to go through that basement is a little creepy when you're a kid. You have that opportunity to look at I think there's the ghost level where you go through the lantern, and then it has some of that creepy music going on, and you're like, oh, what kind of stars can I collect here? But it's pretty great. The La La Lava Land, that's a pretty interesting one too. You got the eyeballs going on where you're running around. I think that there's some footage in here of that as well. There's a pyramid level, which is pretty great, where it takes you to, like, if you want to feel like you're in Egypt or something like that. But I think that all in all, it's pretty interesting once you do complete that basement of the castle and you're moving your self on up to the top of the castle, which you would assume that Peach is at, right? Because that's where she is. That's where the final boss battle occurs between you and Bowser. But, that doesn't go along without you having to collect those 28 stars near the bottom. And I forget what the total is to collect them in his final form. But I think the thing that's so great is that there is the wide array and variety of different worlds. This is, in its way, a different version of Mario. This is, in its way, its original version of Mario Odyssey, if you will. Because at the time, when Nintendo came out with this system, they're like, hey, this is what we have. We want to be able to give the most immersive experience that we can to our fans for a Mario experience. And of course, they didn't have the technological advances at the time to be able to produce a game like Mario Odyssey. But hey, I think that they did a pretty close job, because as you look at Mario Odyssey today, they have the Nintendo Switch. Not only do you have the capability of being able to play it on your TV, you can take it in the handheld mode as well. So, and of course, with the graphics cards that they're able to pack in that little package there. So, being able to see what it's like to be Mario traveling the world versus having the world in a castle itself, with all these cool little widgets and features, chasing on those bunnies, jumping in those portraits, doing a lot of races as well. And I think another thing that this was the original inception of being able to wear caps is the flight cap. And then you have the Metal Mario cap, and I'm not sure if I'm missing out on any one. I could be, but I think that was great on how they never really got rid of that concept of using those caps to be able to transform Mario into different things to be able to advance through the game. I think that that was a very valuable feature that they held on to, and that they really just kind of ran with it and made it more special when it came to Mario Odyssey. So again, when I step back and I look at both of these games, I still give Mario 64 the edge when it comes to comparing these two games. But you know what? That's because it was the original version of Mario Odyssey, in my opinion. And I feel like that if they would have had the technology when I was a kid to be able to produce Mario Odyssey, who knows, Mario 64 might have been different, maybe even better. But again, it goes back to that nostalgic feel, right? It goes back to what you were born with in some senses. Some might say games like Legend of Zelda is the best game. Zelda 64 is the best game that they've experienced on the N64 or Mario 64. But again, these are some of the classics that we have grown up with, whether you're 31 years old like I am, or whether you're maybe 19, 20 years old experiencing this game for the first time. That is one thing that is very interesting to me. Reading comments on YouTube is a lot of people were like, yes, Mario 3D All-Stars is coming out. I've never had a chance to play Mario 64, but I'm getting to now for the first time. In fact, the only times that I've been able to experience Mario 64 is through somebody else's YouTube channel. That was absolutely crazy to me that a lot of people out there are experiencing this game for the very first time, because Nintendo has held on to these rights for so long, and hasn't been willing to unlock that vault, kind of like Disney with their movies, right? But they're finally unlocking the vault. They've unlocked it as of a few weeks ago. Now, some of these youngsters out there, they're getting the opportunity to experience these games for the very first time, and I think that's great. I think that Nintendo should continue to do this. It's a very good move in the long run. And I think that that's the main reason why I bought this in the first place, was being able to have that portability to take it around anywhere. Now, will they be able to do this with other games? I don't know, but all in all, even though this is a straight port, I'd say this is a big win for Nintendo. I think that this is the right direction what they're going in. If I were to give just this one game, the first sliver of a review, I'd probably have to go with a solid 10 out of 10, just because of the portability of having that Switch and being able to take it over. I mean, I think it was a 10 out of 10 game back in 1996, and it's a 10 out of 10 game now. Again, that aspect ratio of the video, I think it's 16 by 4, something like that. It was kind of like you read about it at first, you're like, how bad is this going to be? It doesn't take too much away from the game, don't get me wrong, but once you're actually in it, like, oh, this is what they're talking about, and you get used to it. I know it sounds pretty bad to say, but other than that, I think that replaying this game is a very big treat, and that a lot of people are going to have a lot of fun with it. I think a lot of people are having a lot of fun with it, and the speedruns have begun, so...
So whether you're an older generation player of the game and you are a speedrunner, or you're just playing it for the 5th, 6th, 10th time, or if you're playing it for the very first time on the Nintendo Switch and you're really wowed by it or you're not, please let me know in the comment section below. I really do think that this game is not going to disappoint for either party, whether you're more experienced or you're not. Tell me what you think though in the comment section. Click that subscribe button. If there's anything else that you have or any ideas for future videos, please let me know. I'd be very interested in hearing them. And as always, peace out.